You know, if you're looking at a chart like this, if you're a technical guy and you're looking at like a chart like this, you would say, "Oh man, you gotta dump that right away, right?" If you look at Bitcoin like as it's going, you have to say, "Well, it's hitting up against a resistance, right? And it's overshot in the RSI. You gotta just dump that." Well, here's the thing. This is a reversal chart. This is the inverse chart of what Bitcoin looks like. Yet, when people look at this in reverse, very little people is like, "Oh yeah, Bitcoin's gonna flip up. It's a reversal point. You gotta buy," right? But if this was reversed like this, you would have all the short sellers saying, "Yeah, it's time to short Bitcoin," right? That's the funny thing. So TechDev posted this like, "Hey, the bears will be shorting this all day long, yet the bulls are not longing all day long with this actually being the opposite of what you're seeing," right? And that brings me to this, which I think a lot of you guys already know. If you go to the monthly chart, this is going back all the way to the beginning, okay? You go all the way back to the beginning with all the previous cycles before, and we had 3 of them, and we're entering the 4th one. Bitcoin has never, ever, ever, ever been this oversold. RSI has never, ever, ever been this low. This is a historic low for Bitcoin. So why would you not want to pick up right now? Why would you continue to wait and wait and wait and wait? And you just may wait yourself out of a life-changing wealth opportunity, right? So just like the other chart I showed you, I think that's a pretty powerful message. If it was in reverse, you got all the shorters saying, "Hey, let's short it." But right now, while things are very low, historic low, especially with RSI, you have very little people saying, "Oh, let's go long Bitcoin and buy Bitcoin," right? Now, I don't want to say generalize that everyone's like that. A lot of you guys watching, of course, are staying bullish, are DCing, are picking up your favorite crypto. That's fantastic. I'm just talking about generally speaking. You got a lot of people that's really worried, thinking that, it's all over due to this FTX collapse. It's not. It's not. Just short term, we got some volatility, and you could think of it as a gift, an early Black Friday gift or early Christmas gift, the gift of low, low prices. All right, what else is there? Polygon is also doing pretty good today. Actually, in fact, a lot of projects doing good. BNB shot up today. BNB I saw is up 12%, and then you got others that's going up, right? You got Litecoin still up, Solana up. You got some good movers today. President Bukele of El Salvador is about to introduce his Bitcoin bonds. He wants to raise $1 billion. $1 billion. And that's because he wants to create a Bitcoin city. So, just kind of like Michael Saylor and all the Bitcoin bulls out there, he's not giving up. He took a lot of heat for buying Bitcoin, sticking with Bitcoin. The big boys like the IMF did not like it at all. He's been under a lot of pressure to kind of get away from Bitcoin, right? Obviously coming down from its peak. But he's like, "No, we're continuing forward." So that is absolutely fantastic. That is what we want to see. More countries, more cities adopt and embrace Bitcoin. So that is absolutely fantastic. So I want to start out with that news because there are some other news that's not so good, including New York. New York governor signs first of its kind law cracking down on Bitcoin mining. So basically, if you're a Bitcoin miner and you're not using 100% renewable energy, you will not get your license renewed, or can you get a new license? You have to prove that it's 100% renewable. Now, here's the thing. This new governor thinks that, hey, we're the first to crack down on Bitcoin mining. Yay, look at us, right? What are the miners going to do? They're going to say, "Okay, goodbye." I mean, it's really that simple, right? If you're going to make it that restrictive, and keep in mind, New York does have the BIT license, which is still very restrictive. And I think the new mayor is trying to overturn that. But, you know, when you introduce something like this, what the miners are going to do is go somewhere else. You know, there's other states that's a lot more pro or more friendly towards miners. So I don't think this is going to have the effect that she wants, unless she just absolutely just wants them to leave. That's really the bottom line. I think that's what it is. I don't even know how many miners are in New York, to be honest. I never hear about really big miners saying, oh, we're opening up our new farm in New York. It's all in Texas. So I'm not quite sure what effect this is going to have. But you know what? Let's just call it a negative for now. All right, so as for investors, everyone is looking at the Fed minutes. This will be released later today. I don't know when. I think it's towards noontime. I don't know the exact hour that this is going to be replaced. I mean, not replaced. Going to come out. But the Fed minutes, of course, is the Fed meeting minutes, which recaps what was said during the last FOMC meeting. Now, Powell gave the last FOMC meeting, in my opinion, was the one that Powell was really kind of like going in circles. He was frazzled, in my opinion. He got hit with a lot of hard questions. And I don't know, from all the Fed minute meetings I had attended with you guys, I thought the last one was probably the one where he was the most worried in a way, right? The reason being because he knows inflation is still very high, right? But it's getting to a point where you don't want to do too much. We're seeing that slowdown that he mentioned. We're seeing jobs starting to come off the table. We're starting to see people get laid off. We're seeing the tech sector get hammered, right? And we're seeing inflation numbers starting to slow down slightly, right? So he was trying to factor all these things in. He gave some dovish language, but still remained very hawkish. So it was kind of a conflict. But the minutes may reveal more in terms of whether or not there's a danger of being too aggressive with the rate hikes, with too much front loading. So we'll see. We'll see if anything else comes out of this. But the next big meeting will be mid-December, and that's where we may get a 50 basis point hike instead of 75 basis point hike, and that would be fantastic as they start tapering off the rate hikes, right? There will be more rate hikes. They're not going to stop it, but it's going to start tailing off. So we will see. This will be a big event. The U.S. market right now is not moving because of it. But, you know, crypto market is moving because there's just a lot of good stuff right now, despite this whole FTX saga. You know, Gary Gensler is being called into question. We know that, yes, we know that FTX has collapsed, right? But we have Minnesota. We have someone from Minnesota, congressperson, Tom Emmer, that is calling out Gary Gensler specifically. He's been calling out Gary Gensler for quite a while, and he did an interview this morning talking about, again, Gary Gensler and how he's just not doing his job. And he's been colluding with SBF in terms of getting special treatment, right? What's that about? He's still trying to get to the bottom of that. So I don't know if more will be, I don't know if Gary is going to be looked more into, I guess, was what I'm trying to say. But, you know, let me play this. I think this is a pretty good listen. It's pretty short. I already moved it up to where he gets to the good stuff. Let's listen to this real quick. Let me make sure the volume is all right. Okay, let me get the volume up.
Yeah, major questions, Charles. I mean, look, Gary Gensler and the SEC, apparently they had meetings last March with Sam Bankman-Fried and executives from FTX and a trading firm here in the U.S., and they were working apparently with Sam Bankman-Fried and others to give them special treatment from the SEC that others aren't getting. And they announced a partnership with this trading firm last April. We kept trying to find out what exactly the partnership is all about. We didn't get those answers. And obviously, Sam Bankman-Fried then was pushing special treatment legislation through Congress. And when it was finally revealed what it was, and the industry actually started raising red flags all over the place, that's when this thing came apart. And it's really a failure, it appears, of Gary Gensler to actually deal with the bad guys. You got to ask yourself, Charles, where was he on Celsius? Where was he on Voyager? Where was he on Terra Luna? And now, where was Gary Gensler on FTX? Yeah. This is exactly what he's supposed to be doing. And Terry was talking about that. What is the regulator responsible for this doing, going after good actors in the community and working backroom deals, it appears, with people who are doing nefarious things?
Representative, we got less than a minute to go.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. So it's apparent why Sam Bankman-Fried was making all those campaign donations, because he was trying to push for legislation that would give more power to centralized exchanges like his own and push his own special agendas, right? But Gary is deeply involved with this. So again, is he going to be investigated over this whole saga? Hopefully. And I wonder who the good actors are. Is he referring to Ripple? This may be a good thing for Ripple. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. I'm just speculating there. But I do think Gary needs to be checked on some of these stuff, especially when it comes to SBF. Now, he did mention Terry. I was wondering, like, which Terry is this? Well, actually, you know how Elon Musk, after he talked to SBF, he's like, this guy is just full of BS. It doesn't make sense. He doesn't have that money. If he does, it's not good, right? CME Group, now the CEO, Terry Duffy, also said that after he talked to SBF, he knew he was an absolute fraud. All these guys, they talk to this guy and they're like, yeah, this is just absolutely horrible. Now, Terry also says that the bad actors are just bad actors. It's not a reflection of crypto, right? SBF is not a reflection of crypto, but yeah, he's like, right away my suspicions were up. Why is there so much pressure coming for this applicant? Because the CFTC was looking to create rules to allow some kind of new trading model. And, there was just a lot of stuff going on. There was a lot of stuff from even the regulators to kind of allow SBF to push his agenda. And even Terry's like, why? Why are you letting this guy get all this special treatment? We now know why, because, he has inside connections with Gary and all the campaign donations, right? So the good thing is a lot of these people recognize that it's not crypto as a whole that's bad. We just have bad actors. That's all, right? So it's good to hear that people are not just damning the whole industry just because of one company or one man. So that's also very good. So, today overall, Bitcoin, is up a little bit, 16.4. So obviously much better than our bottom of 15.5. And the entire crypto cap is coming up. So good things overall. And maybe Gary is going to see a jail cell in the future. I don't know. I'm just saying that just to sound dramatic. But as for Bitcoin itself, but Polygon, of course, one of my favorite projects, and they keep building and they keep growing. And you see some of these metrics, right? How many total transactions, the address count, how many tokens there are, right? Self-deployed contracts. These numbers continue to go up. So very bullish for Polygon. And then what else is there? I saw this. I'm not familiar with this VC, Funbushi Capital by Bo Shen. They just had $42 million drained from their Ethereum wallet. I'm not sure what this is about. I don't know. I've never heard of them, so I don't know. But it's still a significant amount of money. Unfortunately, that did happen.